Imagine watching a movie and suddenly understanding a language you've never heard before. That can't be true, can it? Hi, I'm Allie.
And I'm Brianne. I survived a commute where a man argued with a parking meter for 10 minutes, so honestly, I'm ready for aliens at this point.
I, meanwhile, spent the morning trying to EVP a creaky radiator. It was like totally just air pressure. But my heart was open to ghosts, okay?
Welcome to the Veil, Unsolved and Unbelievable, where Allie befriends radiators and I call conspiracy alert on literally everything.
Okay, so check this out. Today we're talking about a very specific moment in Steven Spielberg's 2026 film, Disclosure Day. Emily Blunt has an unbroken 4-minute alien language scene on live TV in the movie. And I swear, during that exact window, some people in the audience start understanding things they shouldn't. I call it the 4-minute window.
Wait. You're saying a movie scene turns people multilingual for 4 minutes. I call BS, but carry on, Professor X.
Here's the deal. Quick primer on the film. It's Spielberg directing, David Koepp writing, Universal distributing. It's a science fiction thriller about a shadowy corporation, Wardex, that's been experimenting on aliens and reverse engineering their tech since, the Roswell era. Emily Blunt plays Margaret Fairchild, a Kansas City meteorologist who gets psychically triggered by a cardinal in her house, seriously, and starts speaking an extraterrestrial language on live TV. Josh O'Connor is Daniel Kellner, a whistleblower who stole files from Wardex. Colin Firth is Noah Scanlon, the CEO villain who uses telepathic alien tech to form psychic bonds. John Williams scores it, but it's a subtler vibe. Spielberg said the music kind of nudges the film forward, not super theme-heavy. Production-wise, Janusz Kaminski shot mostly on 35mm anamorphic, 2.39:1. There were some handheld low-light bits on the Sony Venice 2 for immediacy. They even did limited 70mm blow-up prints plus IMAX showings. Universal marketed it like an event. Mysterious billboards with an upside-down eye inside a bird silhouette. A Super Bowl spot. CinemaCon footage. But they hid the entire third act. Emily Blunt's alien language scene became a centerpiece. She actually performed the whole thing in one 4-minute take using her own vocal training. They originally talked about doing AI sweetening, but she just did it herself. Isn't that bananas?
It is bananas, but in a very normal, talented actor way. Continue to the spooky bit, please.
All right, moving on. My theory, the 4-minute window, is that something about that unbroken take, in premium rooms especially, opens a short-lived channel. People have reported, to me directly, weird stuff during those exact 4 minutes, then, poof, it stops when the scene cuts. Like what? A projectionist messaged me about a 70mm blow-up screening at this old movie palace. He says the room's dead still, you can feel everyone listening. Midway through Blunt's alien speech, the wall sconces dim a hair. No breaker trip, just a flinch on the power. In row F, an older woman starts softly speaking Italian. After the cut, she asks where the restroom is in flat Midwestern English. Same show, a guy told staff he could smell his grandmother's cedar chest for the first time in decades, and remembered the exact name of the farmhand who taught him to drive. He looked happy, not freaked, like he'd found a lost photo. Other messages said kids repeat bits of the alien language phonetically, then giggle like they'd told themselves a joke. A whispering chorus that stops on the hard cut, and a power conditioner clicking like a storm rolling in, even with stable voltage. If you're thinking, Allie, that's just movie voodoo, listen. The pattern lands right on the 4-minute scene. It starts when the newsroom tally light goes red on Margaret, and ends on the cut every time.
Or it's exactly what a tense, quiet, uncut scene does in a big auditorium. You get social synchronization, heart rates drop in sync, people go pin drop silent. Someone whispers, suddenly it's a chorus. Sorry, not sorry.
But here's why I think the effect clusters there. Inside the story, Wardex literally weaponizes psychic bonds. Margaret's awakening is tied to empathetic connection. The whistleblowers even rebuild her childhood home to unlock repressed memories. The movie sets up transmission as catalytic. They do a global broadcast to stop a world war. Layer that with how it's presented. Real-time performance, no cutaways to break rhythm. Williams's score barely leading, mostly supporting. Premium exhibition like IMAX or 70mm blow-ups amplifying detail and presence. And that very human voice doing inhuman phonetics for 4 minutes straight. It's a perfect entrainment soup. I believe the scene temporarily keys into listeners' memory pathways.
Entrainment soup is not on any menu I trust. Scientifically. Also, every single element you just listed is filmmaking craft. VFX from Waiter FX, Digital Domain, Storm Studios. Kaminsky's texture on 35mm, a performance-first approach. John Williams choosing to nudge rather than blast leitmotifs. None of that is paranormal. It's designed to focus attention. And attention does weird but explainable things. People speaking in another language mid-film. Glossolalia exists. So does code switching and mimicry under stress. If the scene's language is rhythmic and unfamiliar, a child parroting it is normal play. Memory spikes. Scent recall is common in high emotion moments. Olfaction is a powerhouse for autobiographical memory. As for the lights dimming a hair, old houses and old theatres do that. Voltage droop, inrush current, not Wardex pinching the grid.
I mean, yes, you're the brain person. But why is it so cleanly bounded by the cut? If it's just suggestion, wouldn't it be messy? Like random throughout the movie?
Real answer. Because an unbroken take with a red tally light in frame screams pay attention. Your working memory dumps distractions to track a single stream. When the cut arrives, cognitive load resets. It feels like a bubble popping. That timing doesn't prove a signal from E.T. It proves Spielberg and Blunt know exactly how to hold a room.
Okay, but the premium format clustering, reports spike at IMAX and the 70mm blow-ups, that bigger image and sound, the grain, the presence, you can't tell me it doesn't hit different.
Of course it hits different, that's the point of premium formats, but a 70mm blow-up is still a 35mm source printed bigger. It's not mystical, it's optics and audio headroom. More immersion equals more suggestibility. Also, we've got zero formal data here. Cinema score was a B from opening night audiences, which screams fairly normal responses, not mass xenoglossy in aisle 5.
Yeah, but I'm not claiming mass anything. I'm saying a subset of people, in the right conditions, get a blip. And it lines up with the movie's core message. Margaret ends on one word. Listen. Maybe the 4-minute window is exactly that. A short, shared listen where your brain stops narrating and lets something else through. Like a memory you buried or a language shape you can suddenly ride.
I love that thematically, truly. But if we're keeping receipts, the alien language is an actor's crafted vocalization. The creatures are VFX. The score's intentionally restrained. The campaign cost around 80 million and hid the third act to maximize curiosity. And David Koepp did what? About 40 drafts to balance conspiracy thrills with wonder. What you're feeling is world-class craft landing on a receptive nervous system.
Here's what went down in my own screening. IMAX, opening weekend. During Blunt's take, the guy next to me, mid-30s, started quietly repeating the same 3 sounds she was making, like he knew where the syllables were going. Not loud, just aligned. He stopped on the cut and looked embarrassed. I didn't make him up. And I didn't know I remembered the stupid password to my childhood AOL email until that exact moment either. So yeah, I'm in on my own theory.
Or you hit a pattern recognition groove and your hippocampus had a field day. The point is, our perception is wildly shaped by what the room is doing, what the story is doing, and what our bodies bring in the door. Sometimes that's mundane, sometimes it feels transcendent. Both can be true without aliens tuning the radio.
Back to the story. Whether or not you buy my 4-minute window, Disclosure Day uses broadcast and empathy to de-escalate an oncoming global war. It's arguing that truth scales when you share it, and that listening beats fear. So maybe the unanswered question is simple. How much of what we feel in a room is ours, and how much is the room itself shaping us?
Let's move on with a quick rec. If you liked the film's government secrecy angle, watch The Age of Disclosure. It digs into modern whistleblower culture and the whole UAP debate without the chase scenes. Good context for the movie's vibe.
Totally. It'll prime your brain for Ward X level shenanigans. Minus, the psychic tracking bonds. Probably.
All right, what are you doing after we wrap practicing alien phonetics in the mirror?
I'm going to sit in a dark room and listen to John Williams' score on loop, obviously. And maybe not talk to my radiator for an hour.
Thank you for listening, truly. Send us your own 4-minute window stories or your best debunks. Question the unknown, but hydrate and tip your projectionists.
We love you all. Keep your eyes open, your ears tuned, and until next time, listen.